Hi everyone, this is Masami. Nice to be with you. I wanted to make a video to welcome the Taurus New Moon and also to wrap up and to celebrate the post-eclipse season. And this Taurus New Moon is going to offer you with some slowing down, maybe a sense of peace, and certainly the stability and the grounding that we all been looking for, especially after this past eclipse season that we just went through. So hopefully many of you took advantage of the post-eclipse season's support guide that I created in PDF. And if you didn't, I included that link below so you can check that out. So this new moon is going to bring you time to some contemplate, maybe time to sit and wonder about things quietly, slowly. So that's going to be a very nice change to what's been going on for the last, since April, it's been fast moving. And this is going to be a key time for you right now to slow down over the weekend and into the early next week to wrap up the post-eclipse season and to reset and be grounded a little bit more. It's because the month of June is going to bring a lot of intensity again, but turbulence, and it certainly is going to not move fast like maybe April and into May, but has a sense of kind of shaking of the grounds kind of a feelings. So make sure you take this weekend into early next week to ground yourself, make yourself sit with the silence a little bit longer than usual, maybe doing some meditations that are not always about guided meditation, but just sitting and witnessing what's unfolding right in front of you. And as with all new moon, you will be called to create more stillness and silence, because that's just the nature of the new moon, right? The new moon calls on us to say, can you be still? Can you create darkness? Can you create some spaciousness? But you may also notice, and you may be a little bit surprised by this new moon, because this new moon in particular this weekend also is going to be a little bit more energizing to all of us. So some of you have been feeling like, oh, I just don't have enough energy. You might find yourself being kind of from an inside out, feeling a little bit more prana coming back up. Your frequencies are starting to elevate, and this increased sense of well-being and increased sense of kind of wanting to be involved in your own life from the inside out. So notice some of the energy side of this new moon too. And this is not very common with the new moon, because right, new moon tends to make us go internally, and that's also important, but you're also going to be feeling seemingly like opposing energies, but it's not. There's a stillness, but in that, after you come out of that stillness, you're going to be feeling super energized from it. Okay. So this new moon is a bit different than maybe the regular new moons that we've been experiencing up to this point this year. So enjoy that. Feel animated from within, but it's going to come from you balancing the stillness and the silence. Okay. So don't forget that piece. And that's going to lead you, that's going to fuel your energy. And one more thing that I'm really intuitively feeling about this new moon is that you may tap into this desire to connect with others, but not just anyone. You will have this desire to connect with somebody, maybe just even one person in a truly meaningful way, and not in that superficial communication level, and not, like I said, just with anyone. And you may find that you will sit with it in the silence and somebody will pop up and you say, I really want to connect with that person. Then I encourage you to reach out to that person and set maybe like undistracted. So you're not multitasking, you're not looking at the computers or something else and then talking on the phone. But set aside some time that you can deeply connect with someone. So choose that person wisely and choose that person from your heart center, but particularly heart, but also come down to the third chakra area, because the new moon really emphasizes the third chakra area, which is the solar center, and that's the solar plex area. So breathe into it. When you think of that person, does that make you change your breathing patterns a little bit? Can you breathe a little bit deeper into the lower part of your body? Then that's the person that you want to connect with, and be fully present with that person. Be 100% here and now for that person with you. And of course, you want to be here 100% for yourself as well, right? And appreciate not only you setting aside the time to do this, but also let that person know how much you appreciate that person for taking the undistracted, really devoted time together with you. Okay. When you are pulled in many directions, like we are most of the times, and during the eclipse season, for this one in particular, I think a lot of us felt like we were pulled in many directions. But when we are, you will actually experience further exhaustion. You will actually feel a lot more lethargic, even though you feel like, well, why am I so tired? That's because you're getting pulled in so many directions that earthly beings don't do that well with. Especially Taurus season is not the greatest time to be multitasking in that way. It's better to kind of stick with the one task at a time. But if you weren't able to do that too much, this is a great reset weekend for you. And that will lead, when you're being pulled to so many directions, that can lead to burnout symptoms. And here's another PDF that I will attach to this YouTube below so you can check on it. For those of you that do not have my 5 stages of burnout PDF, which Chris created, my husband created for us, please do download that. I will put the link there as well. And with this new moon weekend and the end of this eclipse season, be sure to engage with something meaningful for yourself. Okay. So yes, set aside time for stillness, and that will give you some energies. And during that stillness or the silent meditation, you may come up with somebody that you're like, I really want to connect with. So you've done that. Then the next stage is to make sure you engage with something meaningful for you and for your solar plexus and for your heart center. So then stop and ask yourself, what do I care about the most? We don't ask that question a lot. What do I care about the most? Because we're oftentimes just doing what is necessary right now, what needs to be done. So pause and ask yourself, what do I care about the most right now? And maybe that's what you want to engage with. And what makes your heart sing? That's also important. What makes you start humming? What makes you start to sing songs that you haven't, maybe played and you used to sing in high school or something, but you haven't done it in a long time? Those will be a great time. This is a great thing to engage with over the weekend. And engage with activities that anchor you, okay? Activities that make you grounded, because remember, this is a Taurus new moon weekend, and we're wrapping up quite the intense, fast-moving eclipse season that we just went through. So ask yourself, what grounds me? What creates stability? What anchors me? And that could be many things. So explore different ways. For me, it's a lot to do with gardening. For me, what grounds me and what stabilizes me and then what anchors me is actually pulling weeds and planting new spring flowers. So explore also the feelings of abundance and richness of life, because life is full of gifts, right? So tap into that richness of life. And I think the best way to commune with the new moon this weekend is to choose activities that perhaps emphasize connections with this earth and nature around you, below you. And so maybe walking in parks, or maybe going into the nearby woods, or go hiking, something like that would be wonderful. Gardening for me is the key. I love gardening. So I will be doing a lot of gardening this weekend. Like I said, weeding and planting and transplanting and doing further watering and doing things that's involved with the earth, like what I just said, but also like doing pottery can be doing work with the earthly matter. So that can be interesting. If you've never tried that, it's a very healing thing to do, is to create pottery using the earthly materials. And last suggestion I have for you with this is home cooked meals. This weekend, please do spend some time cooking for your body, cooking for this body that houses your soul and makes your spirit shine and reach for what you're here to do on this earth. This is one of the best ways to nurture yourself from head to toe and, 6 feet out in your aura space. This is the best way to nurture yourself, is to cook for yourself and for your family if you can, and feed your soul body, spirit body, so then they can be uplifted. Okay. And unlike many of the popular notions around new moon, many of you that's been following my work, you've heard me say this over and over, and it requires reminder, I think, every new moon, is that I recommend you refrain from setting goals, long-term or short-term, on the new moon and on the new moon weekend. So if you could just sit back and do some of these things that I am recommending, instead of coming up with, I want this and I want that, constantly thinking about manifesting. Of course, the lunation and lunar phases can aid you in your personal journey. Of course it does. And it helps you to get your goal set and, learning about what you can do and activities you can do to make these things come true in your life, which is very true. But unlike practically everybody out there that's talking about goal setting and putting your intentions out there on the new moon, I am actually not of that school. I think this is the time we need to empty things out. And it's also so important that you give this cosmos, this universe, some time off also, right? Sounds kind of strange, but giving the universe the vacation. And that vacation is the new moon, and usually the new moon weekend or the couple days after the new moon, even the day before the new moon too. But I usually try to give the universe a break from these ideas of, gotta get, gotta have, gotta be, manifest, do more. That is not what the new moon energy is about at all. And if you can begin to practice that with each new moon, I guarantee you that you will begin to see changes all around you and within you. Because without that spaciousness, we don't create flow in our lives, because we're just packing it in always with more wishes, more desires, more things that you want, and you want. So see if you can take a little break from that. And the new moon is an embrace. So it's like embrace of the sun and the moon. So think of it as like the solar, the sun and the moon is hugging each other. That's what the new moon is. It's the embrace. So allow this to happen in the glory of the dark night sky, in stillness, spaciousness, and a little more silence. And this is happening right inside you as well, right at the third chakra, right where your stomach is. So during the new moon, my recommendation is that you make sensible foods. You don't overindulge in eating, overindulge in more information, more things, that you stuff it back to the third chakra. Because there's this beautiful coming together, the hugging of the sun and the moon is happening. You want to let that space be. Okay. In Ayurveda, we say that we hold 10,000 suns from all across the universe and the cosmos inside our third chakra. And this is when the solar energy is getting kind of like pumped in or being given to the moon. So receive that and be still with it. And so don't overstuff with the external energy or information. So home cooking foods is always good because inevitably it's always going to be more nourishing. So you don't overeat, but also it gives you just what you need in terms of love to nourish your third chakra as well. So see what you can do around that area of not overindulging, not over expecting and putting your manifestation ideas and things like that. Try that. Give this a try. So open into the third chakra region with emptiness a little bit and see if you could breathe a little more freely into that region, because if you're not overstuffed, your third chakra area opens up, then the lungs can drop. Okay. Just as, they are embracing, right? The sun and the moon are embracing your consciousness, which is the solar energy, your subconscious minds, subconscious ideology, subconscious memory, subconscious patterning. They are coming together in partnership. And that's rare. Really, it's rare because most of the time we're split within us, conscious mind and the subconscious. Well, we get to bring them together. We get to embrace them together. So allow that space to happen. Okay. But just as with any relationship that we have in our lives, you do not want to go into this sacred time of new moon with more wishes, like I said, intentions, personal goals, and focus your energy towards manifestation. Because when you do that, your conscious mind takes over, and the subconscious minds are very quiet. They whisper. We don't hear that. So it's better not to create too much of that noise so that we can begin to bring these two minds together. And leave aside the energies of needing to acquire, okay? Nothing to be acquired. Nothing needs to come into this life right this moment over the new moon and over the weekend to stuff yourself up with more. So let's see what we can all do with emptying of the space, creating spaciousness. And when you do that, the universe can recalibrate with you. So think of a new moon as the time that you're giving the cosmos, the universe, the vacation that I talked about, a little time off, so that the universe can recalibrate and come back in alignment with you. And this is the time to give the universe the gift of stillness also. And remember to create, like I said, the spaciousness for the unfolding to happen. So the new moon is the time of surrender, full surrender, and submerge yourself into the dark sky and enjoy the stars this weekend. I look forward to being with you again soon. Thank you. Namaste.